that power needs to be in the hands of judges at all time.
Yes, there's a strong sense that having judicial discretion over minimum sentences allows judges to do justice to individual offenders in individual cases. And certainly there's very strong research to suggest that the advent of mandatory minimum sentences has been disproportionately harsh on of offenders. And so, for example, there's been an increase in the overrepresentation of Indigenous and Black offenders in the time of the Harper government, which can in part be traced to the rise of mandatory minimum sentences.
Now, I understand that this ruling also clarified the credit given for time served before a trial. Can you take us through that as well?
Yes, certainly, Sonia. In fact, that was a separate decision by the name of Safazadeh Makar. And it came out of Ontario. So the Truth in Sentencing Act was passed by the Conservative government in 2009, and among other things, it prevented the judicial practice of offering enhanced credit to those offenders who'd been incarcerated before they were convicted. So before the Truth in Sentencing Act, an offender used to get approximately 2 for 1, so 2 days credit for every one they spent in pretrial custody. And after the Truth in Sentencing Act, the maximum credit that could be given is 1.5 days for every one. But in respect of offenders with prior criminal convictions, judges were denied the discretion to allow enhanced credit. So that meant that an offender would only get 1 day of credit for every day that they'd spent in custody before they were convicted.
All right. Now, Emma, today was just a ruling, but there are a number of steps that happen into the future now. So what are those steps? And I guess how long will it take to bring this ruling into action?
So both of these rulings take effect immediately. The court didn't suspend their declaration. So the consequence is that there's no longer a mandatory minimum sentence in respect of trafficking of drugs, although the kind of sentencing ranges that we have seen are unlikely to change very much. In respect to the unavailability of enhanced credit for those with a criminal record, similarly, it will now be possible for judges to sentence offenders with regard to enhanced credit even where they have criminal convictions.
All right. What about people that were sentenced under these laws? Does anything happen to them now that it's been declared unconstitutional?
There's no automatic review, and so it will be necessary for Crown prosecutors to on a case-by-case process, and it's possible that we'll see a number of appeals being lodged in respect of the denial of pre-sentencing credit and in respect of the mandatory minimums that might have applied, although I suspect that we won't see a great deal of change in sentences as a result of these cases.
All right, that is Emma Cunliffe with the UBC joining us today via Skype. Emma, thank you very much for your time today.
My pleasure, Sonia. Thank you.
All right, and stay tuned.